Hey, everybody, Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and welcome back to another edition of Save It for the Cast. And as per usual, you know the drill by now. I'm going to be kicking the ball over to John, Randall, and I for a little video games chit-chat in just a little bit here. This conversation kind of comes from, I can't remember if it was before or after our episode proper when we recorded the holiday episode just the other week, kind of wrapping up our end-of-the-year favorite games and whatnot, or favorite things we played this year. But yeah, just kind of leaning into that, just more video games chit chat, kind of all over the map, talking a little bit about John's Steam Deck, a little bit of a teaser. I'm sure we'll be digging into that more in future episodes, talk a little Game Pass, little Epic Games, cross-platform, yeah, kind of all over the map. With just some various video games chit chat coming up here, and kind of in the vein of like stuff that we've recently grabbed on sale. I've been kind of doing that, just bouncing around my Switch, like I've mentioned on recent Save It for the Cast. Just, firing up a few random things. I will say I did just get moved into my new apartment. So kicking off 2024, I'm going to really try to hit the ground running on the videos, the live streams, getting a little more active in the Discord again. So I'm really, really pumped about that. And with that said, I've got the TV all hooked up. I'm still kind of getting unpacked, got quite a bit left to do. But I did make sure that, obviously I needed to just get the TV hooked up and get my, TV stand. That's, a big piece of my, storage is, this credenza thing that I put my TV on so I can put a bunch of games in there, a bunch of controllers, and get some stuff put away. So I was like, I got to get the TV hooked up so I can get it out of the way in front of this cabinet so that I can put stuff in the cabinet. But anyways, I got everything all hooked up, got some couches into the apartment the other day, and with a little help from my parents and whatnot, got the coffee table, whatever. I still need some rugs. I got quite a bit left to do, but that said, I was like, okay, I'm going to turn the lights out. It was the other morning. I was going to say it was in the evening, but no, it was in the morning, but it was still kind of like a dreary, gloomy day. And with the blinds and everything closed in the apartment, it gets pretty, you can shut out quite a bit of the light. So I was like, okay, I'm going to shut all the lights off. And shut all the lights off, and I've had Thomas Was Alone sitting on my Switch here for quite a bit. And it's a game that I was like, I know I don't want to play this handheld because I feel like it's a game that's kind of like an experiential game, even if it's like a little bit, it's an older game, and I think it might have even started as like a Flash game. I could be totally out of turn there, or totally misspeaking there, but I think it, it's one of those early indie games that really kind of like made a splash, especially for like just having like the voiceover narrative, kind of commentary. This has like an actual developer commentary on it, this version on Switch, which I obviously haven't tried yet since this is my first time playing the game. And there's been some a little bit of jank, you can kind of feel that it was like maybe an early Flash game. Obviously this is polished up a little bit, but just the way the text and dialogue gets smashed on the screen as you scroll on the early levels. And even in the early going, because I'm a decent precision puzzle platformer player, I'm just kind of trying to rip through these levels, and I'm kind of waiting for the dialogue to finish. And there's been a couple stages where I kind of end the stage and it's just getting ready to start a next second little bit of dialogue, and I'm like, oh no, I missed something. Because as much as I am I love to just rip through levels and start playing them and rip through a platformer, and just I kind of tend to play in speedrun mode with most games, but I am really enjoying just the overall presentation of this. I'm sure that, I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said about this game already, but I really do love the kind of just cheeky sense of humor, and the I don't know, just a little sense of even the way you're kind of one character keeps introducing new characters that are just basically squares or rectangles with new abilities that can either jump higher or float in water and kind of carry the other characters over as a little boat. And you're kind of narrating as it's all the same narrator, but kind of narrating as the voice of the characters, and they're kind of discovering the world, and it's all I don't know, it's just a really cool concept for a video game. Again, nothing that hasn't been said before, but the main thing I've really been loving is just the music and the lighting. It almost has that kind of ape out kind of dynamic. There's a ton of games that do this, but this dynamic lighting where it's almost like a fog of war, Shadow, Mark of the Ninja kind of thing. So I've really been enjoying that. But yeah, really the narrative thing has really been pulling me along. I've played through about the first 3 chapters of the game, and I was kind of thinking in my head, because I think I knew that it was this older indie game, I was thinking it was going to be a short little experience that I was going to rip through in one quick sitting. And I was like, I got some stuff to do today. I'm going to leave it here and pick up the rest of this later. And I was like, oh man, it looks like there's, you can do a chapter select from the menu. And it looked like I was only on chapter 3 of maybe 10 or something like that. So I was like, there's a lot more left to go in this game. And I'm pretty excited because it's already getting pretty tricky. You're juggling between 3, 4. I don't think I've had 5 characters just yet, although there's been more than 5 characters introduced. And yeah, I love like just how they all have like a name. Like Chris is hilarious, just the little square like that they just keep making fun of, and he's like kind of a jerk, but he's kind of like, you know, fallen for one of the other characters. And it's such a funny, charming game that I didn't know how I was gonna feel about it, because I know I don't know, I just sometimes the stuff that leans into these narrative things or just like those kind of presentations, like even if the voiceover wasn't quite landing right, but I feel like they just nailed every aspect of this, which they needed to do for it to work properly. And it's just been such a joy to play a little bit of that. And then the other game that I did get a chance to play a little bit of that I grabbed recently on sale, I grabbed a bunch of games. I grabbed like Lil Gator Game, Bleak Sword DX. I went kind of ham on some of these like end of the year sales that have been going on, and then I grabbed Boomerang X, which is a game that I've been really wanting to try out. I think it originally maybe came out on PC initially, and then I saw that, obviously this came out on Switch. It's normally $20, but it was on sale for about $8, if I recall correctly. So I was like, oh, that seems like a great price to just dive into this game. It's kind of like a first-person shooter, kind of looks in the vein of like Devil Daggers a little bit, which I've never played, but just kind of heard a lot about. But over the years, and I still need to really play that game. Still really want to play that game, I should say. Yeah, this game kind of, the way it works, it's like a first-person shooter, and you have this like X-shaped boomerang thing, and I just unlocked the ability to kind of like slow down time and stuff like that. But the main mechanic is that you throw this boomerang at enemies, and you just kind of like wander around. I thought it was actually more of a roguelike, but it seems like it's more of a, you just kind of, not narrative adventure, but it's just like an adventure where you go into these arenas and you basically just one after another. It's almost like a boss rush style game, except you're just fighting waves of enemies in this first person shooter mode. And then, you just throw your boomerang. It's your only weapon, at least as of right now. I've played through maybe the first like hour or so. It said I was 29% through the game last time I played, but you throw this boomerang and then you press the same button and you can teleport to where that boomerang is at. And you can obviously just keep chaining this. Like, it's pretty free form. Even like your jump, you just kind of like, at first it feels kind of weird because you just like wash up on this little like island shore, and my instinct when I first start playing a game is just like jump around, get the feel of the game, and you just like kind of launch yourself forward, which at first feels kind of weird. But once you start chaining that with the boomerang throw and then teleporting and stuff like that, it really starts to feel nice. I'm just starting to get the hang of the controls and getting them to feel second nature, because you have another button for like recalling the boomerang, and then now you have this other button that while you're charging the boomerang to throw it a little bit further, for whether you're doing that to teleport to get up to a higher ledge, because there is a little bit of platforming going on. There's even kind of some cool platforming sections in between the arenas and the combat sections, which is a lot of fun. And then these kind of weird, like mysterious, like narrative beats. Like I just talked to this weird, like creature, some kind of centipede thing or whatever. And it was just kind of like, hey, if you ever need some help, come talk to me again. And then I'm like looking at these mantis statues, and I don't really know what's going on yet. It's kind of, mysterious and intriguing, but the narrative stuff seems kind of light. It's nothing super heavy on that end, but I've been enjoying the kind of presentation of all that, and yeah, I kind of really like the cell shaded style. There's been a couple moments where it's chugged just here and there on Switch, but nothing that's hindered my gameplay experience at all. But yeah, I've been really having a lot of fun with that one. And another one that was like, I did play a little bit of that handheld because I was like, I just want to get a flavor for this, and I'll fire up a new file later, even though I did just pick up where I left off once I booted it up on the TV. But it is one where I'm like, man, I'm really digging this. I'm not too far in, and it seems like it's going to be kind of a shorter game. Again, it sounds like about a quarter of the way through the game in about an hour or maybe even less. But I'm kind of like, this seems like one that might be a lot of fun to stream now that I'm going to hopefully have my setup back up and running real soon here. So I'm very pumped to get to hit the ground running here in 2024 in the new year with Pursuing Pixels, particularly on the video side of things. Obviously, we've been able to keep the podcast going every week. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting that back going on the live streams, hanging out in the Discord and all that. And yeah, with all that said, we're on the internet everywhere at Pursuing Pixels. But on that note, or at pursuingpixels.com, I should say. And on that note, I'm going to kick the ball over to Randall, John, and I for a little, post or pre-holiday episode discussion here and some video games chit chat. And take care until next week.
I don't want you to spill your guts on the Steam Deck yet, John, if you are going to make that an official segment, but I'm very curious about all of that.
So yeah, I have the older version because Mikey got the OLED, and then I got his old Steam Deck, and which again is by far the most powerful thing that I have in this house.
Yeah, consider you're playing Genshin on your phone half the time.
Yeah, good God. But man, I will. This is a teaser for a later episode for sure, because I'm going to be playing this game for forever, I think, next year. But Monster Hunter World, what a fucking good game. What a fucking good series. Like, I have become so Monster Hunter pilled. Like,
man.
World, does that one have online at all?
Oh, yes, they all have online.
Okay, because World is like the one that piques my interest the most for whatever reason. Might just be the cats.
Man, I don't know. Like, it does feel like it's a very, I mean, this is going to be the broader topic of like every Monster Hunter World or every Monster Hunter game at this point is just like the same thing, but like a little different flavor. So like Monster Hunter Rise, I think might be my favorite to play in terms of like how the game controls or like how the battles control. Yeah. But Monster Hunter World, I think, is way more my speed in terms of how like the game is constructed. And like part of the thing that's in World that's not in Rise is like tracking monsters, and how like at the very beginning you have no tracking of any of the monsters, and you are just like finding footprints in the overworld. And like I have failed multiple missions just because I can't find the monster before the hour time limit ends.
Jeez.
Because what Monster Hunter as a series is just getting you to memorize systems and learn them until you are fluent with them. Sure. And like the point of tracking monsters before you have the ability to, like before you have experience like levels in tracking a monster, is like you are memorizing the entire stage, because you're going to be spending hundreds of hours in there. And it's like, all right, I'm learning where every single item or enemy or habitat is in this stage that's massive. And like it takes a long time. Like it is a game that is all about spending like hundreds of hours in and just like memorizing systems and learning the language. So like it's a very John game.
I know. I was just gonna say hundreds of hours. You might have just steered me.
That's exactly it. I'm like, I don't think.
So cool.
I don't think this is a Kevin series. Like,
I know. It's one of those things where it's like, if I could just jump in and already know how to play and stuff like that, and be at that stage and just be able to just dive in and be at the level where you're at now with it.
And that's
then I think I could enjoy it, but it's like there's no way I'm ever gonna get there.
And the only way the reason why I'm able to do that is because I've played hundreds of hours in previous games,
right.
And I know like the menus don't change at all. So like I opened up this game and I was like, oh, I like am fluent in this language. I'm going to create like several like sub loadouts like right off the bat without having done a first mission at all, and like just build the skeletons that I'm going to be using like hours from now. And like it's great. It feels so good to do, but it is absolutely a game for a specific type of player, and I don't think it's for you, Kevin.
Do you have the means of hooking that Steam Deck up to like your TV at all?
Not yet, but that is a Christmas gift that I have requested.
Nice.
Does it require something like a special adapter, or is it like a...
Because the it only has one output.
Yeah.
So it's the charging and HDMI need to be the same thing.
Okay.
So like you need a special adapter for that, but
makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But nice, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
like I do like as I'm sitting here, like I don't think I would go the Steam Deck route, but like especially because I have such an old iMac, and I like but I wouldn't want to get a Mac for playing games.
No.
Because there's just too many games that just aren't available on Mac, so
But the Xbox with Game Pass, like if you have like a ton of stuff on,
But I do want to have a good computer because there are some games like I was just looking at some random. I think it was a game called Gem Wizards Tactics or something. It doesn't look like anything crazy, but like a little kind of top down indie tactics roguelike game. And like I was looking at it on Switch because it was on sale for $2. And then I saw the trailer, like the gameplay with a mouse, and I was like, oh, this does look like it would work better just like whipping around and clicking on the tiles as opposed to like, and maybe it has touchscreen controls, but like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if gamepad, as much as I do tend to prefer that, if it is just kind of strictly mouse controls with like some hotkeys on the keyboard, I have grown to kind of like playing some games like that. So.
I think Xbox has opened up where you can use just keyboard and mouse. They're basically like, this is a PC. We're not going to pretend it's not really just a PC.
You're actually right about that. You know what? I think you're definitely right about that. So that's I think you are right about that, and I think that is definitely the route to go.
I think if you've got a library, only, if you've got access to stuff already, like instead of start buying a new platform, like I think just picking a lane.
But I do have between like all those bundle games from itch.io and all the like various Steam games. I do still want to have like a PC that can run some stuff too.
All the free Epic games that keep coming out.
Yeah,
I haven't been on top of that. I haven't been on top of that in a couple years.
There's not been. You've been alerted to all the good games.
Yeah, because I remember last holiday there was definitely a good chunk.
Oh yeah,
there's like actually hold on,
it just started.
May have just started.
Yep.
What's up there now?
Today, Destiny 2 Legacy Collection is the thing today.
Wasn't last year like didn't they do like Loop Hero or something like that?
And Death Stranding.
Death Stranding was the biggest one. Yeah,
I don't think I grabbed that one, or if I did, I just completely out of sight, out of mind, just did it autopilot. Like okay, someday.
So. Does this have crossplay? Because I have...
Yeah, cross-platform. Yep.
So I can play this again? Between...
Destiny 2.
Okay.
So I can play my same file between this and the...
You probably, because it's Epic, right? So that's from the Epic account.
But
right?
I have it like on Steam.
Oh.
But if you log in with your Epic account...
I wonder.
Theoretically,
it's weird. I'm getting it no matter what, but
yeah,
because I think that's how it would work with like Rocket League.
Except I have that on
different platforms,
but I have that on Switch. I don't have Rocket League on Steam. That's weird. Requires base game.
Oh, I didn't know it. I just pressed get like I always do. I didn't even.
Yeah, that's weird.
I will say I have been impressed because there's been a few games that I think I talked about it a little bit with Hi-Fi Rush, but I did actually hook up my Xbox again to when I was like re-downloading Overwatch, and I can't remember what I even re-downloaded, but I played a couple things real quick because I was like, I don't want to download it, but it's got the cloud version, so I don't have to like wait for it. And I was like, I fired it up real quick, and like that stuff runs buttery smooth. Like it still says it's in beta, but
yeah, that
cloud gaming, even on the
crazy.
Xbox One, it's nuts.
It makes no sense.
I remember trying the PS Now or whatever it was back in the day.
Yeah,
on the PS3 or 4 with DJ. And we played like 5 minutes of Spelunky, and we're just like, nope, this is unplayable.
A game that's difficult anyway, right?
Right. And now I'm playing stuff like that, though, or at least with, that kind of precision. And
True.
It's like, oh, yep, this is like, no input lag, or at least no noticeable. Like
mine was Cyber Shadow.
It was literally a rhythm game.
Yeah. So it was like,
Cyber Shadow. Yeah. Like, because I forgot. Yeah. You were playing that on like your phone and stuff too, weren't you? Yeah.
Yes. And it worked. I didn't notice. I did not perceive a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, they've added some cool stuff to Game Pass lately. I can't remember what I even downloaded, but I was pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, they've been pretty still consistently good with that stuff. A lot of the deals, too. That's the other thing, is if you do end up with an Xbox Series X, and I'm not trying to push you right into it, but if you do end up with one, they do all these like Game Pass. They're doing a lot of pretty aggressive Game Pass deals where some of the games... like Dead Space, the Dead Space remake, which came out like this year, I think. I grabbed that for like $6.
Yeah.
And because I've got Game Pass Ultimate, I'm like, oh, shoot.
Ooh.
Okay. I got to be more on the lookout for that, because I know they just have like that standard, I think it's like a 20% discount or something. Like anything that's on Game Pass or whatever you buy is discounted.
Yeah.
Which is cool. That's if you're like,
yeah,
man, they're taking it off Game Pass. You know what? I do want to just own that game.
Exactly.
Might as well get a little deal on it.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah.
I just got Magic the Gathering Arena.
Oof.
Wait, was that free?
It is free.
The Steam Deck has a touch screen as well, right?
It does.
I presume.
And it's got that little
touch
touchy
pads.
Yeah.
Touch pads.
Touch pads, right?
Yeah, and like it has, in addition to the shoulder button and shoulder trigger, it has 2 pads for your other 2 fingers that are placed.
2 pads?
Yeah, on the back. I have not used them for anything, but every once in a while I'll click them and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot those there.
They have that one button on each of those like hoary split pad Pros on the back, but it's a singular button. But yeah, I think you can assign it to something, but I've never used it for anything.
Didn't the PS4 controller have something? Or no, I guess the Vita had the back button.
It was the Vita, and that
Vita
was
had the
specific for Gravity Rush. Didn't they use that?
Yeah.
I know they definitely leaned into some of those features, yeah.
Shoot,
I'm sure there was some other games too.
Yeah. We gotta not be looking at new games while we're about to be discussing the last years.
I literally just bought a new game, which again, I don't know. I thought they had that cutoff on the Switch eShop for $2, but I just bought a game for 49 cents. Neo Drift Forever or something like that. It's some kind of arcade racing game.
Okay.
It's okay so far. It's like you don't press anything to accelerate. You're just like automatically driving forward, and then you just steer left and right, and you can like drift or you can boost, and you just got to make sure you like collect gas and not run out of gas. And I think the levels are procedurally generated, but there's like 30 stages or something like that. You're kind of like Cruising USA style, but racing against yourself. But like at one point I like hit some like warning sign, and then the cops started chasing me, and every time you hit something you like lose extra gas and it slows you down, obviously. And it's it's got that like arcade, like got to get to the finish line before your time runs out sort of vibe.
I feel like
did you pick up Retrowave, that game Mikey recommended?
Oh man, I vaguely have a recollection
because that was but I don't think good arcade. Like I'm not a huge arcade score chaser kind of guy, but I enjoyed that significantly.
Retrowave, all one word?
I think so.
Let me look that up real quick.
Well, yeah, bare bones.
I don't know.
Just straightforward, like arcade racer, trying to get as long or as high a score. And I think you would get higher score.
It's got a 10 out of 10 on Steam.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember. I might have this on Steam, but I don't think so. Oh, this actually looks sweet. I love the visuals of this.
Yeah, definitely pick it up if it's on sale ever.
Shoot.
Yeah. Yeah, the steering of this Neo Drift, I think it's called Neo Drift Forever. I forget, I might be a little off on the name, but like the steering's like a little weighty and heavy, but I feel like once you get used to it, maybe it'll be a little more fun. And it looks like there's a ton of cars you can unlock, but might be a little grindy for that. But we'll see. 49 cents. I'm obviously can't complain whatsoever.
Right.
And actually a game that I will recommend to both you guys, although I don't know how it would play on Switch. I played it on PC, but it's called Please Touch the Artwork. And that game's on sale for 99 cents right now, at least best I can tell. Maybe it's because I own something else. I don't know. But
I've heard
really cool game.
Yeah.
I streamed through the whole game on whenever I played it way back when, year or two ago. And I really thought that was a cool experience. Like I'm thinking about buying it. It's one where I'm like, I don't know if I'll actually ever play it again, but I might as well throw the developer a buck.
Oh yeah, it's cheapest on Switch right now. Looks like $2.
Oh, $2. So it must be because I own something else, maybe from the developer. I know they do some of those, like kind of package, or from the publisher, I should say.
I'm loading the page right now. We'll see if it's actually cheaper than the web result.
I like this. This is cool as hell.
It's a really cool game, and the puzzles get actually pretty tricky in some parts of it. Some parts are just like kind of casual, and you're just like, oh, I'm just moseying my way through this little kind of pseudo narrative kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little poem of a video game, but definitely puzzly for parts of it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nifty little game.
So this is the 5th year of this?
9, yeah.
5th year of this?
19,
yeah,
20,
damn.
21, 22, 23. Good God.
God damn, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Staying
We've been
power.
playing some video games.
For real. For real. And I'm about to start ripping and rolling again once I'm in my apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Got so many goddamn games on my computer that I'm looking at. I'm like, I got to play Fungus Reaper. I got to play Kid Bubblegum. I got to play all these games on my Switch. I got to play my resolution game. I got.
Let's see if you can play your resolution
We'll see.
game before November.
I'm going to try to dig like right into it.